A New Japan Pro Wrestling legend makes his AEW debut last night on Dynamite, plus Bryan Danielson confirms his status for Forbidden Door. We're going to discuss who his replacement could be. Christian Cage speaks after turning on Jungle Boy last week. The Young Bucks are reuniting with their former New Japan Pro Wrestling stable this Sunday. We have the final participant in the All-Atlantic Championship match this Sunday too, plus more matches have been announced for Forbidden Door. All this and more in today's AEW News. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, there are plenty of news stories to get into in the world of All Elite Wrestling, especially after last night's huge episode of Dynamite on TBS. So let's start off talking about Kazuchika Okada. Yes, Okada is in AEW, one of the greatest pro wrestlers on the planet today, one of the biggest stars in New Japan Pro Wrestling history. Okada will be competing this Sunday at Forbidden Door because the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship match has been announced for this Sunday's event. During last night's episode of Dynamite, six-time New Japan Pro Wrestling Heavyweight Champion Kazuchika Okada made his All Elite Wrestling debut. Now, Okada rushed down to the ring to even up the numbers for Hangman Page, who was being attacked by Adam Cole and IWGP World Heavyweight Champion Jay White. It was later announced that this would be a four-way match this coming Sunday, with Jay White defending his championship against Okada, Cole, and Page, with the bout on the line. Now, actually, it must be said as well that Hangman Page was wrestling someone else making their debut on Dynamite, and that was none other than Silas Young, former Ring of Honor World Television Champion, making his AEW debut. Very much enjoyed that. But the moment was massive. The moment was huge of having Okada finally make his AEW debut. His status for Forbidden Door had been quite up in the air because after he dropped the championship to Jay White, there was kind of this feeling for a little bit that I think there were rumors and reports about his availability. Wouldn't he be available? What was his schedule looking like? And frankly, there was so much announced when it comes to Forbidden Door last night on Dynamite. And I said a lot of people saying, they're rushing or it's last minute. I would go as far to say, and we know this to be accurate, but I think it's for quite several matches, frankly, on that card, that the card we are going to see this Sunday looks nothing like the originally planned card, because there have been so many injuries, there have been so many issues, there have been so many just whatever, that the original plan has kind of evolved 10 times over, hasn't it? And what we're going to see Sunday was not the plan, but having Okada's involvement makes it feel big. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? Because I was under the impression, or I felt before, that with Okada dropping the championship to Jay White at Dominion a couple of weeks ago, my feeling was that was maybe Jay White was going to be a transitional champion, or maybe that was to set up this freeway match that had been rumored with White facing Adam Cole and Hangman Page. I mean, initially, the rumor was it was going to be Kazuchika Okada versus Hangman Page for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship at Forbidden Door. That was then debunked as, no, that's not going to happen. It's going to be a three-way match, and it's probably going to be Jay White. So once Jay White won the championship, I went, okay, that's the direction that they're going in. But now that Okada is involved in it, it makes you wonder, are they going to move the championship back and forth? Do they want to have a Forbidden Door event co-promoted by AEW and New Japan where both championships change hand? I think initially the plan was to have CM Punk clearly defeat Tanahashi and retain the AEW World Championship. I still think Moxley will win the championship this coming Sunday, the interim AEW World Championship, that is. But maybe the plan was also to have Okada win back the championship at Forbidden Door, because New Japan Pro Wrestling is very clear as to how many people are going to be watching, and it's a big event for them, and to really establish their footprint once again in the United States. I don't know. I really don't know. But if you haven't seen Okada's work, or you don't really know too much about New Japan, you're in for a treat. As I mentioned, for me, he's one of, if not the best wrestler on the planet today. He's just got, when he stepped into the ring, just the facial mannerisms that he has, he just feels like a star. And you can't teach it. You can't teach it. And again, I know that some people can say, some of these New Japan wrestlers, they're getting, no reaction on these, broadcasts, and maybe that's because a lot of people in the audience, American audience, don't know too much about certain wrestlers. But again, that's it. Last night, him making that appearance was a big deal. Certainly was a big deal, and it was great to see him out there. And again, he just feels like a big star. Now, in an ideal world, would you have Okada facing off against Bryan Danielson? Would you have Okada facing off against CM Punk? Of course you would. Would you have Okada facing off against Kenny Omega once again? Kenny Omega's going to be missing Forbidden Door as well Sunday. Again, the event just feels somewhat snake bit, doesn't it? Nevertheless, despite being snake bit, it will be a fun event and it's going to be an exciting one. And one would hope that, as I mentioned before, this is going to be the first of many Forbidden Door events. And if that is the case, that would imply that eventually we're going to get Okada versus Bryan Danielson. We are going to get Okada versus CM Punk, etc. And maybe we're going to get Okada versus Kenny Omega once again. That would certainly be the hope. But we'll have to wait and see. But it was a great moment, and I'm really looking forward to that match this coming Sunday. Now, one person who isn't going to be wrestling at Forbidden Door is Bryan Danielson. He kicked off last night's episode of Dynamite and revealed that he's not been medically cleared to wrestle this Sunday or at next week's Blood and Guts episode of AEW Dynamite. However, he basically confirmed that he was set to be facing Zack Sabre Jr. this coming Sunday, which again sucks because that's really unfortunate. He said that Chris Jericho had hired Zack Sabre Jr. to face Bryan Danielson this coming Sunday, but of course that can't happen. He then teased that he has a replacement. The only person he trusts to replace him and defeat Zack Sabre Jr. Now, he didn't reveal as to who this person would be, and there's been a lot of speculation as to who this person could be. Now, names that are flying around are the likes of Cesaro, Johnny Gargano. They're both currently free agents. People are saying Chris Hero maybe, and now this could be one. Shibata from New Japan Pro Wrestling as well, possibly. Could be Jonathan Gresham. It's going to be very, very, very interesting. I mean, would Johnny Gargano be the one to face Zack Sabre Jr.? I don't know. I like the idea of it being Cesaro. Cesaro versus Zack Sabre Jr. is a really exciting match. And the phrasing that Bryan Danielson used felt oddly specific, saying the only person I trust. And we're talking about technical wrestling here. And of course, Bryan Danielson and Cesaro, Claudio Castagnoli, whatever you want to call him, do have a lengthy history of their time in Ring of Honor and, of course, in WWE as well. So I would guess maybe Cesaro, considering that, but it would also imply that Cesaro has signed with AEW. So we'll wait and see with that one as well. Shibata would be a real out of left field one as well, but we'll see. Let me know who you think is going to be Bryan Danielson. I still do that even today. His replacement this coming Sunday. Christian Cage had a promo after attacking Jungle Boy last week on Dynamite. And it was interesting because at points I felt that he stumbled over his words. And there were points where I was thinking, where is this going? But once he started referencing Jungle Boy's father, Luke Perry, Marco Stunt, this is when it got very, very real and frankly very, very good. Now, he claimed they showed the footage of Jungle Boy screaming at Christian Cage rather screaming at Jungle Boy's mother and his sister last week after he attacked Jungle Boy. Now, he said that the reason that his mother was shouting at him is because Jungle Boy's mother has the hots for him. He says that he knows he was like a father figure to Jungle Boy, and his mother might have wanted him to be their new father, but he already had a father, and his father, Luke Perry, is dead. Yeah, that was heavy, heavy, heavy stuff. Now, if you're not familiar, Perry legitimately suffered a stroke in 2019 caused by a blood clot blocking a blood vessel and preventing oxygen and blood from getting to his brain properly. He passed away at the age of 52, which is just no age. Of course, Luke Perry, very famous actor as well. Now, this then led to Luchasaurus coming down to the ring, overpowering Christian Cage in the corner. But then Christian Cage said, whoa, wait. Remember what happened to Marco? Cage kept reassuring Luchasaurus that he was like a son to him and gave him a big hug before they walked out of the ring together. So this is quite curious as well. Like, the reference to Marco Stunt was what it was. I think that was them trying to just play up a bit of reality to it. But the idea of a heel Christian Cage that has Luchasaurus as the muscle, I think is interesting. I think we've seen, to be honest, enough of Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus tagging together. Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus Jurassic Express, they were, somewhat of a hot angle, somewhat of a gimmick in, the early stages of AEW, 2019, 2020. But certainly their tag team title run felt really underwhelming. Jungle Boy, I still think has a way to go. I think he really needs to work on, charisma, still on promos. Sometimes I feel like he's trying to be too cool. Trying to be all laid back and cool and all that kind of stuff. And sometimes you need to project more. Sometimes you need to be louder and, more facially expressive. And the Luchasaurus gimmick, I do think, has nearly run its course. There's only so far you can go with it, to be honest. And I know that AEW's got a different audience, and they're more accepting of, I would say, comedy gimmicks, because, I don't know, is Luchasaurus a comedy gimmick? I guess somewhat. But eventually you have to evolve and you have to change. And maybe that's what this will lead to. It'll lead to Jungle Boy wrestling as a single star, Christian Cage as a heel, and Luchasaurus maybe taking off the mask or maybe doing something different. And that's not a bad thing. You have to evolve. You can't stick with the same gimmick, the same act, the same routine forever. Especially on week-to-week episodic television, you have to change. And this could be exactly what not just Christian Cage, but more specifically Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus need. So I enjoyed the second part of the promo. As I mentioned at points, it was a little bit sort of, where is he going, sort of stumbling over his words. But once he started hitting those beats of Jungle Boy's father and the Luchasaurus stuff, I thought it worked really well. Now, going back to Forbidden Door this coming Sunday, we're going to see a reunion of sorts, because the Young Bucks have announced they'll team up one night only with the Bullet Club's El Phantasmo and Hikuleu against Sting, Darby Allin, Takahashi, and Shingo Takagi at this weekend's Forbidden Door event. Now, of course, the Young Bucks have a huge history with the Bullet Club. Now, they were a staple of the Bullet Club upon their arrival in New Japan in 2013, alongside former IWGP Heavyweight and AEW World Champion Kenny Omega. However, after helping form AEW in 2019, the Jackson brothers would form the Super Elite with the aforementioned Omega, as well as Doc Gallows, Kyle Anderson, and Don Callis. So we're going to see a one-night-only reunion with Bullet Club's El Phantasmo, Hikuleu, and the Young Bucks. I wouldn't be surprised if we see maybe the Bullet Club turn on the Young Bucks, and that's the finish of this match, as in, we don't forget. You can't just walk away and expect that we're not going to forget that, well, basically what happened. So I could see that, but just how wild is it? Sting in 2022 is wrestling against in a New Japan, co-promoted event. Yes, pro wrestling. It's wild. Now, another match that's going to be taking place this coming Sunday. We're going to crown the first ever All-Atlantic champion, the AEW All-Atlantic champion, and Malachi Black is one step closer to becoming the inaugural All-Atlantic champion. He defeated Penta Oscuro, and the winner advanced to that four-way match at Forbidden Door to determine the inaugural All-Atlantic champion. Now, he now joins previously qualified participants Pac, Miro, and Tomohiro Ishii in the four-way match at Sunday's event. It led to Pac coming out to confront Malachi Black, as well as Miro appearing on the screen. I would hope that Miro wins this coming Sunday, because I think he got the biggest pop, really, out of anyone involved in this angle. I do like the idea of Malachi Black being the All-Atlantic champion, and it gives him something to do, and I want to see Malachi work more singles matches, because I don't think we've seen him work that many. I mean, what a weird run he's had in AEW so far. Obviously, the Cody Rhodes feud, which was polarizing and divisive, to say the least. That led to the House of Black, and they've been doing some six-man matches, but they've been largely relegated to Rampage and buy-ins. Not to say their matches have been bad, because they haven't, and I really like the presentation, but it feels like they're always waiting for the right opponent or opponents, or certainly with a lack of trios championships in AEW, they're kind of just there. So during that time period, why not have Malachi Black be the All-Atlantic champion? However, Miro is just money. He's absolute money. Listen to the reaction he gets when he just appears on the screen, his promos, his presentation. He's money. He's absolute money. He still can be a world champion in AEW one day. I'm convinced of it, because he's just that good. The presentation, the gimmick, everything is just that good. So I would hope that Miro wins that, because when he was the TNT champion, I mean, for me, have we had a better TNT championship reign since he dropped it? I don't know if we have, honestly. I really don't. So I'm going with Miro for Sunday. I hope that would be the case. Finally, some other matches have been announced for Forbidden Door on Sunday as well. We've got Swerve Strickland and Keith Lee versus El Desperado and Kanemaru. It's been added to the lineup on Sunday, which is a bit of an odd one, of course, because Strickland and Lee have tried to coexist as a team in the aftermath of Strickland eliminating Lee from the Casino Battle Royale during Dynamite after the Double or Nothing pay-per-view. I would assume, I might be wrong, but I would assume this will lead to either Lee or Strickland turning on each other, and that's basically what's going to happen, I think, because surely that's what's going to, surely that has to happen, right? I mean, otherwise, what they do, we're just forgetting that happened. More matches have been announced for the buy-in as well, so we've got a pretty healthy and lengthy card for Sunday's event, which should be an exciting one. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Be sure to smash a like on the like button as well. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right hand corner, and I'll speak for you again very, very soon. Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.